The first step to financial independence in the military doesn't come from wild investments, crypto, or buying a bunch of real estate. It starts at your desk in the barracks room with one simple habit: budgeting. Now, my name is Levi Wolf. I'm an active duty Marine and I've been working in personal finance for the last 3 years. And I make these videos because personally, I believe every service member should be able to walk away from each enlistment with at least $50,000 added to their net worth. And the truth is, most of that starts with how you manage your monthly paycheck. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to budget on a military paycheck. We'll talk percentages, common mistakes, a breakdown of your pay. I'll even give you a free tool that you can use and copy today. So imagine this: say you're an E3 with 3 years time in service, no BAH, and you're pulling in about $3,000 a month in base pay. After your taxes, TSP, and regular deductions, you're actually closer to bringing in about $2,500 a month. Now, over a 4-year enlistment, that's $120,000 of take-home pay. And most people only walk away with $5,000, maybe $10,000 saved. That means over $100,000 vanished, and most of it was just untracked, unplanned, and then it all got wasted. Budgeting is how an average military paycheck can turn into $50,000 over one enlistment, because a budget shows you two basic things: what's coming in and what's going out. So let's open up a budget example using the tool I use. By the way, you can grab a free blank copy in the link in the description. And here we'll run a basic ideal scenario using those E3 numbers. So here at the top, you're going to put in $2,500 a month for the take-home pay. And here, this is split into each paycheck, but usually bills come out on the first one. So we're just going to focus here. Now, just going from the top down, here we have no rent because we're going to be living in the barracks. Say you have Wi-Fi at $75 a month. You could have a car payment of, let's say, $400. The insurance for that, we'll put $125, and the gas to get around is going to be $100. Cell phone bill, we'll put at $50. Groceries, we're going to leave at $0 because we're going to assume that we're eating in the chow hall. $30 for video streaming like Netflix and Hulu. $20 for music, that could be, your Spotify or Apple Music. And then we're going to assume $20 a haircut, which is $80 a month. And then $50 on miscellaneous cleaning supplies, stuff for the room, stuff like that. Now here, if you look on the bottom, it added all that up and it automatically subtracted that from your income and it shows you what's left. But if we go over here, we're going to add $150 on fun, which is stuff like going out for fast food a few times, maybe a drink or two on the weekend. And then maybe, you get a new video game each month. And then again, it subtracts it from the total on the top and it shows you what's left. And let's say we put all that into savings, you see that it'll calculate that on how much that's going to be after a year and then also 2 years down the line. Even if you think you know where your money's going, like, yeah, I know I spend $2,000 a month on chips and White Monsters, a budget still gives you real numbers. Even if you just look at just saving $800 a month on that barracks paycheck, that's almost $40,000 over 4 years. That's before any growth. Now, all this is to say, it's not about judging your habits. It's about seeing the full picture so you can start to take control. So whether you're $50,000 in debt or you have $50,000 in savings and you want to do anything, budgeting is still step one. Think of it like taking your car to the mechanic. You can't fix anything without popping open the hood. And this is you just popping open the hood on your finances. And in that example, all we did is lay that paycheck out line by line and saw what's left over. What's left over later becomes investments, real estate, businesses, but it all starts there. Every strong financial plan starts with savings, and budgeting is how you create that margin on purpose. But what if you're still getting here? If you're new to budgeting, here are some good rules of thumb. For cars, the ideal way to buy is using the 24-10 rule. You put 20% down, payments are never longer than 4 years, and the monthly payment should be no more than 10% of your monthly income. I really believe that if you have to stretch a car payment past 5 years, you just can't afford that car, because at that point, you're not building any equity on a depreciating asset, and the car will end up owning you, not the other way around. For housing, if and when you move out the barracks, try to keep rent or BH expenses under 30% of your income, because once you cross that line, your budget might get pretty tight pretty fast. Now, for savings and fun, a good starting point is 20% of your income going to savings, ideally more if you're in the barracks and your overhead is low. Beyond that, 10 to 15% can go to fun. And yes, you should set aside fun money, because if you don't leave room for life to happen, your budget will fall apart the first minute something comes up. Also, planning for fun is what makes discipline sustainable. And on top of that, don't forget about irregular expenses like birthdays, flights home, car maintenance, because those aren't surprises. They're just not monthly expenses, but budget for them anyway, because if you don't plan for them, then when they do come up, they will feel like emergencies. I think budgeting is a lot like counting calories. When I first started my fitness journey in high school, I tracked everything, every meal, every workout, every macro, and it worked. But over time, I didn't need to track it anymore because I built the habit, learned the skill, and eventually it all became subconscious. And budgeting is the exact same way. It might feel slow or clunky at first, but once you've done it for a few months, you'll start to feel like you're in control. You'll spend more confidently, save more consistently, and never wonder where your money went. Now, most people fail, and it's not because they're stupid or lazy. They just never had a system. And this budget gives you that system. So if you want to grab the exact budget tool I use, it's in the description below.